It is mid-May and it's been a couple weeks since I planted out this garden bed area, and I wanted to share some of the developments because things happen so fast in a vegetable garden. Starting with the Yukon Gold potatoes. There is foliage coming up in several places. This pot had the ones that were rotting and I thought for sure they weren't going to germinate. I got one here and it looks like one mound is coming up right here. This was the ones that were looking good, and I already have one healthy one showing up, and I think that might be a mound where some growth is pushing out, and potentially right here some growth pushing out because it's kind of mounding up. The oregano is looking great, and my zucchini plants are looking really good with the onion starts under them. I have the onions planted all throughout. I'm calling this year chaos vegetable gardening. I have honestly no idea how all of this is going to turn out. My tomatoes have put on tremendous growth since I planted them out. And some of the onions are much stronger looking than others. Some are looking still a little wimpy and others are really taking off. So I suspect I'm not going to get a great harvest, but I'm excited to see it. This plant might be a little too small for the fruit, but c'est la vie. The pepper plants are looking pretty good. The Shiseido pepper has the most flowers on it. The yellow pepper is definitely coming in strong, but is going to be much further behind. My overwinter Jimmy Nardello is definitely leafing out and looking pretty good. And the last one is my red bell pepper. It's looking pretty good. It gets a lot more shade, so I have the feeling this one's going to take a little longer to fruit. I suspect that I'm going to have to move the strawberries I put in this elevated bed because this bed gets the most afternoon sun, and it probably is too much for strawberries, as I've now learned after the fact. The rest of my herbs are doing really well. And I have beans germinating throughout the garden. Hearts of gold melon on both sides. And onions also doing pretty well. But I do have beans coming up everywhere, along with the Armenian cucumbers. And I'm going to wait till I have a couple of really strong seedlings in each of these cases, because I do seem to have slugs or something that comes in and eats. So I have everything surrounded with diatomaceous earth to protect it while they're still young. Here I've got some pole beans on both sides with my cucumber. Another bean here, this one got attacked. It looks like it's putting on some additional foliage growth right here next to the Shiseido. And I have a couple that have shown up over here. The last couple items in my vegetable garden are spearmint in a pot, of course. And I have both dill and a fennel here in a separate grow pot because I read that they can release a hormone that affects or stunts the growth of other plants. So I moved them into this pot and then later realized that they both get huge. So I'm not sure either of them will actually do well here, and I may need to transplant one of them once again. I planted right here at the base of the elevated bed is a chamomile plant. I'm hoping it does really well right here and brings in additional pollinators along with the marigolds and the alyssum. That's what's going on in the vegetable garden right now. Over here behind the pavilion are the blueberries. I have 3 blueberry plants here. This one is pink lemonade and it does not have a significant amount of fruit on it. I am thinking that these plants are in a little too much shade and need a little more sun. And of course I did not properly prune or thin this year. Another foxglove that's seated itself in here, so that'll be fun to see. This is the Misty, and it has some nice size berries and looking pretty good, but again, not a lot of fruit. And I do find, if you look at this from this angle, all of the plants are trying to stretch towards the sun, which also tells me that this is too shady a spot for them, and these plants are going to need more sun. So again, I'm going to move them. This will probably be move number 4 because I seem to not be able to find the best spots for them. This is the O'Neill, and it seems to have the largest cluster of berries, and they are looking phenomenal. And I noticed a couple are starting to turn, the O'Neill, and so I'm going to need to tent these to protect them from the birds so that I again can get a little bit of the harvest. My orchard is on the west side of the yard because it gets the most sun, and the persimmon looks like it finally leafed out. I do have some dead on it, a couple of dead branches that need to come off, but it is fruiting. The peach got horrible peach leaf curl after the spring rains, and I do have a nice crop. I did go through and thin quite aggressively this year given all the damage I had from last year's harvest. The cotton candy apium is looking phenomenal, has a lot of fruit on it, far more than it did last year, seems to be staying on. This is my earliest fruiting plant. I just got barely a handful of fruit last year, so I'm excited to get more fruit off of this plant. The pomegranates are also doing well. I have good foliage, and I do see flowers throughout the plant. This is the wonderful pomegranate, and over here on the other side is the pink satin, which also has quite a few flowers on it. Now, I had one fruit form last year, and it did not fully form, but this year we have quite a few more flower buds on the tree, so I'm hoping it does well. That does it for an update on my fruits and vegetable gardens. Thank you for joining me for my garden journey.